wake up probably at 12 o'clock. The only reason I wake up at 12 o'clock is because you play till 10:30, and by the time you don't eat dinner till 11 o'clock, and after playing sports, your adrenaline's going so much so you don't go to bed till 3. So I wake up at 12, eat lunch, and go to the park at 1 o'clock for like a 7:30 game. So you practice, you hit, you do your ground balls, for 3 hours before the game, and then you play the game. So I was there for 9 hours, 10 hours with my interpreter, so we got to be almost like brothers.
And you had 2 young kids at the time too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Frank, you were always a switch hitter because you hit home runs at Atlas, lefty and righty. Was that by design? Was that a plan that you and your dad wanted to do? I'll answer that part, then I have a second part.
Okay. No, I would kind of taught myself how to switch it because once I was like 9 or 10 and we'd be playing pickup games, they'd say, well, it's not fair because you can hit the ball so far, so you have to bat lefty. So I'm like, all right. So I said, well, I'll fix everybody. I just started practicing, and I got just as good hitting left-handed. Actually better hitting left-handed than right-handed because if you guys know in baseball, when there's a right-handed pitcher, you want to hit left-handed and vice versa. So, hitting left-handed to me was easier because if I got 500 at-bats, probably 400 of them would be left-handed. So.
And Frank, part 2 of that, we had a nice we've had many nice discussions, but one of them up at the Star, you talked about switch hitting. You talked about near the end of your career when you hurt your knee, and because of the torque, you couldn't hit one of the ways any longer, and you had to bat one way. And you told me how difficult it was watching pitches coming in from the opposite way when you weren't used to that. Can you tell them a little bit about that? I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, I just don't know how you guys do it now, hitting right-handed with a right-handed pitcher, because once my left knee just started giving out, and I couldn't even put my weight on my back foot anymore, so I said, my right knee's good. I said, I'm just going to start, I'll just hit like I did in Little League and Teen League and stuff, and I'll just hit right-handed. You know how long that lasted? About 1 game. They sent me down because I was hurt, so I was on rehab. And I went up, and I had 1, 2. He threw me 3 curveballs with 3 sliders. I said, well, this isn't going to work. But it's easy when you're hitting left-handed. Everything's coming into you, and it was just totally opposite.
I thought it was fascinating. Go ahead, Frank.
Your favorite place to play, whether it was a season or 1 game, favorite field to play at?
Favorite field was probably in Colorado because the ball flies out. Yeah, I'd hit 40 home runs there too. A pop-up goes out of there. All the major league stadiums are nice. And they were.
Except the Met, right?
Yeah. Hey, well, when you're in the major leagues, you're just like, I pinch myself every day. I'm like, wow, this is really awesome.
At what age was your best year?
At what age?
Was your best year?
Probably when I was 36.
36.
Because when I was in Japan, they didn't think I was that old. They thought I was a lot younger. But I stay in shape. That's I wish I could have. I changed my batting stance once I got to Japan, and I spread my feet out a real lot, and I wasn't moving my body at all. And all they were doing was throwing me the forkball, and I couldn't hit it. And so I filled up the machine with 500 baseballs and just stayed there for hours and hours and hours and figured it out. And I wish I had that stance in the States, because in the States I had a little bit of a hard time hitting all the off-speed stuff and everything. Once I got to Japan and figured that out, they were throwing me forkballs, I started hitting those for home runs, and they started throwing me fastballs, and no matter what they threw me, that 1 year I hit 31 home runs, and that was the most on Chibalote's history when I was there. That was my best year, 102 RBIs.
Great. Got a-
They said you played for Seattle. Did you play with Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yes, I did. Best baseball player, I think, ever. He was just God-given ability, God-given talent, never lifted weights. I mean, he did it. I'll tell you one more story. We were in spring training with Seattle, and you know how the pitchers show up like a week before the hitters. So the pitchers are always ahead of the hitters. Like their arms are in shape already. We don't have our eye and our timing and everything. So it was 4 days into camp. We're just starting to hit off live pitching, and the trainer comes running out and says, "Oh, Griff, you got to get going. We have you fly out right here. Your house in California's been robbed or is on fire or something. Been robbed, broken into." So they're like, "Okay." So he leaves spring training for like 4 days. Now once he gets back, we're right into games, right? We're playing the Yankees. Without any practice for 4 days, he comes up, home run, double, single. I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty good. He's a Hall of Famer. I hit off Randy Johnson. He's a Hall of Famer. He was 6'10", big lefty, threw about 96 miles an hour. That really wasn't too fun.
Frank,
Ichiro. You played
Ichiro, yeah, I played against Ichiro. That when over in Japan. When we played then, there was probably 50,000-60,000 people there. In Japan, it was big baseball. It was just baseball and soccer in Japan. That was it.
Can you share with us a special memory that you have, whether it was Little League, high school, in the major leagues? Is there anything that stands out as you're growing through the years that you think is special? I'm sure you have many, but is there something that stands out to you, being very special?
There's a lot of
Is
them.
it in his head or?
I'm trying to think about it.
Frank, how about the grand slam in the 10th inning?
That's special.
Yeah. Well, that's on YouTube if you want to see it. You guys want to see that?
They channel your name and
Huh?
Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
You should put a
Tell us
link.
about
Tell
that.
us about that, yeah. That's pretty special.
Well, yeah. That wasn't. I think I had 6 of them in Japan, or 6 or 7. As an American, I think I have the most walk-off home runs there in Japan. That was. We were down 3 runs, bases loaded, and actually a friend of mine, American, was pitching on the other team. I hit it off of him.
Did he tell you it was coming?
So it really wasn't that special because I couldn't jump around crazy like a nut because baseball, you're not supposed to show up your opponent. So I just kind of rounded the bases and kind of went like that, and that's it. And it wasn't even that fun because I couldn't celebrate that much. But probably my first major league hit. You know, the 3-run home run I hit off Schilling in the vet was pretty special because a lot of people from Mount Carmel, my family was there and all my friends were there. So that was pretty special.
Frank, did you ever actually, I know this sounds funny, but did you ever actually see a check from the major leagues? Like, did you get checks or did they go right in the account?
No,
Like,
they just go right.
I was going to say, what was that special getting that first check handed to you? You know,
Oh yeah, I saw them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them.
it had to be a great feeling playing
Oh
at
yeah.
Atlas.
I saw that and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. You know? But,
And your wife said even better.
I said, wow, this is awesome. But Marquise Grissom was like right here and Larry Walker was over there. And they're like, hey, Rook. And I'm like, what? Check this one out. He was making like $4 million.
Jeez.
Did
Yeah.
they ever make you wear funny clothing?
Oh yes, I
As
got.
a rookie?
I think you should not be allowed to ask questions.
That,
You're done.
no, that's a good one. That's funny. I came into the locker room. We were flying I don't know, we were flying somewhere. But after the game, I come into my locker, and whenever you travel, you have to wear a suit and a tie. So I got up to my locker, and I'm like, all right, they got me. My suit coat, the one arm was cut off. The one leg from the knee down was cut off. And they made me wear these clown shoes that were like this. And I was walking.
So everybody knew you were new.
Well, I wasn't the only rookie. Or that, I really didn't care. I'm a good guy, funny, but there was probably 5 or 6 rookies that year on that team, so like nobody saw you anyway, because in Montreal you drive underground right to the stadium, and then once we would get on the bus to go to the airport, you get on the bus, and the bus would take you. You don't go in the airport. You don't handle your luggage at all. You just walk right into the plane, so nobody even saw me anyway. So I really didn't care. You can make me wear this every day if you want. In Major Leagues, I don't care.
What was your favorite city? Besides just playing baseball, city to visit.
I don't know, because there's really not much visiting because you're just playing all the time. There's not.
We don't have a lot of time. This Ken Griffey Jr., he was a great ball player. What kind of a personality was he? Was he,
Well,
was he a Barry Bonds stuck-up guy?
Back then, I thought so, because we were in spring training, and we were going to Tucson, and they said, "Bolick, you're going." I'm like, "All right." We were going over to Phoenix or whatever, and that's like a 2-hour ride on the bus, and then you got to get out of the bus and play. To boot, they said, "Bolick, you're going, and you're just backup. You're probably not even gonna play. You're just gonna, just in case somebody gets hurt." I'm like, "All right." So I'm sitting there, and my game's going on, and one of the coaches yelled, "Hey, Bo!" I'm like, "Can hit right now." I'm like, "Okay." So I was gonna go put my spikes on. I didn't have my spikes on. "Hit right now." I'm like, "Okay." Well, it was Jesse Orozco, right in Tucson Stadium, and there's about a 30 or 40-foot wall in dead center. So see, now my wife thinks I'm crazy because I remember all these pitches like everything. It was a 3-1 slider. He threw me right down the middle, and I hit probably one of the first ones I've ever hit. Dead center over this 40-foot fence in dead center field. Man, I really smashed that one, you know. So the next day in the locker room, I'm walking by, and Ken Griffey Jr. is walking by, and he said, "Hey, Bo," I'm like, "Heard you hit a home run yesterday." I said, "Yeah." And he just kept walking. I'm like, I guess either that's being a rookie and he has 10 years in, or him not being a nice person. I don't know, but
You didn't know him personally.
no.
Frank, over there.
Question there, Frank. Did you ever get a check from the game?
Yes.
Tell him something.
Anaheim, right? Was it Anaheim?
Yeah.
There's a picture in the paper you'd be restrained, but
Wow, you are officially done with questions.
We were playing Kansas City, and in Anaheim, I guess we threw at them, and they threw at us, and then weeks later in Kansas City, somebody threw at Dave Hollins, and the bench is just cleared. And everybody's fighting and this and that, pushing, and Hollins and the guy that were on the ground, they were really getting into it. And I was kind of coming over like this, and somebody just punched me right in the mouth. Didn't knock me down, let you know. Didn't knock me down, but punched me right in the mouth. I went back like this, and I just started running after him. And I almost caught him. He ran down in the dugouts, in their dugout, and 2 umpires grabbed me and said, "Bolick, that's enough." I'm like, "Okay." Well, I get back to our dugout, and then after the game, Terry Collins is like, "Well, you know, you're going to be suspended. You're going to be suspended." I'm like, I said, "What did I do?" I said, "I got punched in the mouth." You know, so I got in trouble for nothing, but yeah, I got ejected. And in Japan, I charged the mound one time too, because they threw me like right here. But in Japan, they're scared of their own shadow, so I would never caught anybody.
But one of the things Frank didn't tell you, he just told us before, that if, should he ever get a chance to go back to the majors, he wouldn't be able to because he didn't pay the fine when he got thrown out of the
Yeah.
Atlas.
Other than Atlas.
I don't know, when I was at Georgia Tech, I was a group of good guys playing at Georgia Tech. That was fun. Because in the major leagues, you're kind of just there playing for yourself and kind of, you know, for the money and stuff, but I'd say Georgia Tech was probably my fun time playing. Because, you know, in college, you're playing for fun.
You still stay in contact with a lot of the players?
A few. I have one that lives in Carlisle, a friend of mine I went out and stayed with twice in California. Steve Klein, Lewisburg, friend with him, Jason Phillips. I do a lot of like Major League Baseball golf tournaments. They invite me to golf with people and guys get to see each other and stuff, so we see each other a couple times a year. Any other questions?
No?
That's it?
No, you're done.
Will you still punch Chris for 10 cents?
Yes.
Wait, wait.
I know, right?
I'll be up there.
Yeah.
Another question? I'll do it for 5 cents.
Let's have a round of applause. Let's have a round of applause for Frank.